All right. Perfect. And yeah, we'll be monitoring the chat, but you can also just verbally ask questions too. That would be fine. So today we're going to become Zoom masters.
Yep.
So you guys are going to leave today, hopefully with tons of skills you can show off, I guess,
That's
to
right.
all your colleagues.
So it's like better than being a Jedi Master.
In these times, I think it is.
Yeah, Zoom Masters are the Jedi Masters of our day.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, so here we go.
All right. So for those of you that weren't here before, I'm Catherine Boyette, Educational Technology and Integrated Studies Consultant for Tulare County Office of Ed. And I've been on a ton of Zoom calls, both professionally and personally lately, and am really working with educators and administrators in doing the same. So that's enough about me, so we can get going. How about you, Adam?
So again, I'm Adam Juarez. I'm a tech integration coach, grade 6 through 12 for Cutler-Rossi Joint Unified School District out in rural Central California. Finishing up right now my 15th year as an educator. First 10 years as a world and U.S. history teacher for middle school and high school. The last 5 as a tech integration coach. So it's been an interesting end to my 15th year. It's kind of a landmark year, and so it's kind of odd, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
We have some people that just jumped in here.
Okay.
So I went ahead and put the link to the presentation in the chat. And I do want you to know we are being healthy and safe and following health guidelines. I know if you look at the video here, we are both closer than 6 feet apart, but we are married, so it's okay.
Yes.
Just to let everyone know that we are being healthy.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So just again, we just review this every single time. You can share this with students or colleagues as well if you'd like. But, you know, here's where to mute your mic, turn on and off your video, and access the chat.
Yeah, really encourage you to share this slide with anyone that you facilitate with, especially if you're starting to work with students. You know, this is an easy, kid-friendly way to get them to get their feet wet with joining in on Zoom.
And they like GIFs; those are fun.
Of course, yeah. Is that Rugrats?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
It's the 90s one, yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to talk about some screen sharing and all the different things you can do with screen sharing. So just to remind you before we get started with that, where that button, so to speak, on the bottom is for sharing screens. We're first going to, you know, just to remind you, we talked about this last time too, but you have to allow others to share their screens as a host, and you can turn that off in the settings as well. So just wanted to kind of talk about that, and let's go ahead and move on. Oh, did you have something you wanted to share real quick, Adam?
Just as kind of a few pointers here on screen sharing. So, you know, in your settings, and you know what, I can actually show you where this is in a second, but when if you allow all participants to share, if you want them to be able to share their screen, that's usually a good. That's up to you. Then this is going to open up right here. And what this does, if you leave this one checked, only host, that means you're the only one that can take over the screen pretty much whenever you want. If you click on this one, then it can be a free-for-all for students. Kids just start taking over, either because they're being little rascals about it or they're just inadvertent. So just if you allow all participants to share their screen, be cognizant of these choices here. If you don't want a free-for-all, if you don't think the kids can handle it, this one can be checked. But if you just want to make a more fluid Zoom meeting where, you know, as long as the kids are being responsible, they can just go in as needed without you having to tell them to join in. So just definitely something to be aware of.
That's right. Welcome, Barbara. So you just joined. I'm going to drop the link to the presentation in the chat again. And just a reminder to mute when you are not speaking. So we're going to go ahead and answer in the chat, what screen sharing features have you used, if any? And then, you know, have you had any challenges with that as well? So in the chat there, we'll give you a minute or two to tell us what you've done as far as screen sharing, either as a participant or as a host. And if you haven't done much screen sharing, that's fine too. Okay, so Barbara, all right, so perfect. Shared your screen and also let someone else share their screen, okay? Sounds good. A presentation, perfect. Challenge, not always knowing what participants see and don't see. Excellent, yeah. Okay, okay, Elise, good to know.
Whiteboard.
Nice, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Video with sound, sounds good. Perfect, whiteboard's awesome. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. And also annotation, if you haven't done that yet. One thing we talked about in the past is if you are, it is a challenge to know what participants are seeing and not seeing. And so what I like to do, and I know Adam does this as well, if possible, if you have a second screen, whether it's a tablet or another computer or something, it's helpful to log on to the Zoom meeting twice. You can do that with your same account, but as we say, Adam, what are the most important things to remember if you do that?
You need to have it muted and turn the volume down.
Yeah, so two things. Otherwise you get super annoying feedback and you and everyone else will be very irritated and your ears will hurt.
Yeah, a couple questions I've gotten recently about screen sharing is, do I do one tab? What do I choose? And honestly, the best thing for me to do is just, in my experience, just choose your desktop. That way everything on your computer can be shown.
Yeah.
Any program, any file that you can open up on your computer can be shown when you screen share. So if you're doing a lesson where you need to tap up or go from one program to the next, just do the desktop, is like you can see right here, like Catherine showed.
Top left there.
We're showing you right here. That's the best one right here. But if you look at other ones, you can choose different tabs. So it just shows that. But if you want to multitask and go from activity to activity quickly, just choose desktop. It gives you everything on your computer.
And what I like about that too, I've had the times where people have asked me for a different resource or how do I get into this? And so I need to go to a different tab or a different window. And I've forgotten that I was on one of these instead of desktop, and then they couldn't see what I changed to. So it is definitely helpful to make sure to have that. Let's see, screen sharing is, okay. Can you share the Zoom tools?
Yeah, that's something you can't be on
Unfortunately.
Zoom and show them how to do Zoom.
Right.
We're showing you screenshots. Here's a hack that I do. I've done a number of Zoom sessions from teachers in my district this week, but I do it through Google Hangouts Meet. So if I'm on Hangouts Meet, I can then open up Zoom separately and then share my screen through Meet and show them anything on Zoom. So like today, I showed them how to download the desktop client, how to then start scheduling things through the desktop client, and I started a mock Zoom, and they were able to see it. So yeah, that's tricky.
It is a challenge.
You need to have some other kind of video conferencing app like Hangouts Meet or WebEx or whatever that you've used before to demonstrate live to people how to do Zoom. So
yeah, to do it in real time.
Yeah.
If you do screenshots or something like that on your device, that can be helpful. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't show them exactly what your screen looks like.
I mean, another option may be if you don't have, if people have the option to choose something asynchronous. Well, if you were to use some kind of a screencasting software, or Screencastify through Chrome, or you're using built-in software to your computer like Camtasia or something, you can start recording. Use Screencastify, use your screencasting program to record your screen, and then do Zoom and record it, and you can make a video.
Yeah, so then you could even give that video ahead of time so that the students knew a little bit about the,
And you may be asking, well, I can probably find those online, someone who's done it before, and you're right. I mean, we both have tons of videos where we're demonstrating, but if you're working with students, they want you.
Yeah.
So if you were to create it, and it's you're the one, that your voice that's explained to them, that's so powerful. I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can totally find one online, but when it comes from you, it's so much more powerful. Perfect.
And Barbara said she has used Screencastify, so that's great. If you haven't used Screencastify, I'm going to, it's a Chrome extension. You can still, I've been told you can still use this code at the moment. to get the premium version. So if you haven't used that already and you want a simple way to record your screen, that'll do it. And it saves your Google Drive. But I do want to talk just a bit about the just different options. Whiteboard, we're going to talk about in a moment. This is pretty cool that if you have an iPhone or iPad, you can use AirPlay and show the kids or the, whoever you're working with what's going on your iPhone or iPad. Or if you're using a cable with that. And then if you click this advanced here, then you can look at these. This is like a dock cam over here. So if you actually have a dock cam that is plugged into your computer, most teachers don't right now because they haven't, we weren't prepared to set that up. But it is cool that it is an option.
So if you're using those two, either of the iPhone, iPad choices there, that could be your dock cam right there.
Yep. Absolutely. And we talked about that last time. If you weren't here, these are being recorded, so you can look at that later. So this is, I wanted to show you all the different things that you can do on the whiteboard. I didn't have a touch screen, so my handwriting is bad, but not quite that bad.
That's pretty good for using a mouse.
Not bad, right?
That's actually very good. That's better than me.
Well, it wasn't a mouse, it was a trackpad, but
yeah,
the kids get real good at this.
Yeah.
So anyway, you've got the whiteboard that you can do here. You can write text, as you saw down here. I used the draw feature to do this. You can, of course, change the line width and all the colors and things like that. Then you can put in these different, it says stamp. So here's a checkbox, here's a star, things like that. The spotlight is actually this red dot right here. So if you're wanting to show kids things and kind of point something out, you could use that. There's the eraser, of course, undo, redo, which is nice. Clear the whole thing, but you can, the really cool thing is you can save this. So if you click save, you're gonna see this green button, and then it's gonna save this picture somewhere on your computer. So I could have clicked here, show in Finder, and that would do that. Great question. This is not actually the Annotate tool. I'm going to show you that next. So this is called Whiteboard. So if you looked back here, I went to Whiteboard in order to have a blank slate, so to speak, totally blank. Now, if you wanted, I'll show you in a moment what the Annotate tool is going to look like. However, if you have kids annotating, so they go to their, if you have allowed annotation in your settings, in your overall Zoom settings, they could write on it too. So it could be collaborative in that way.
So this is kind of
you probably don't want to do that though, to be honest.
This is kind of like Jamboard.
It could be like Jamboard, which is a collaborative whiteboard. If you're going to do that, I would recommend small groups of kids.
Yes.
But with small groups of kids, that'd be great.
Now, a question where we're going to get, I'm sure I've gotten, can the whiteboard be done in a breakout room?
Oh, yeah, I haven't thought of that. I don't see why not, because you can share your screen in a breakout room.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried it, but I would see no reason not to. Never heard that you can't.
There's just one thing there. I know not everybody is working on a Mac like we are, but where it says up here, show in Finder, that just means your files, where you would find all of your files on a Mac. It would say something different if you're on a PC or if you're on a PC.
Right.
So just something right there. But I've never seen that before. What's that? That's because we're on a Mac right now.
What I really like too is this here. You can add a new page. It's kind of like if you've used Google Keep, the drawing feature, you can have they call it a new drawing. This is called a new page. So it's essentially like if you had a whiteboard book, this is the first one. Now you create a new page, turn the page and have a brand new one. So that's kind of cool that you just start from scratch that way, and then you can go back. Okay, let's go back to the first problem we worked on. Okay, now let's go to the next one again. So it's a pretty cool tool. All right, so that's the whiteboard. So now annotation is a little bit different if you are the one sharing your screen. So in this one, I shared my screen. I only showed the bottom. I only screenshotted the bottom here. But I shared my desktop, and then I clicked this button that says Annotate. And now I want to show you what I can do on the annotation. So now rather than being a blank slate of a whiteboard, I am going to write on my screen that I shared. So, again, I just did this real quick, real ugly because I used a trackpad. But all of those tools that you saw on the whiteboard are still here. So you can still add text. You can still add those stamps, that spotlight, the eraser, of course. So all those things you can still do, and you can also save it here. So all of those whiteboard features, with the exception of going to a next page, because it's not a blank slate, so to speak.
So is this something that we could demo right now?
We could, yeah.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Because you would actually be, so there's your annotate tool right there.
Yep, I see.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and write on it.
I'm going to go to, let's say.
Something else?
Let's go ahead and find let's go right all over my calendar. So I'm going to click on annotate.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see which one I want here.
So you're on draw right now. There we go. Oh, you can put in shapes too. I forgot to talk about that.
So
you got a highlighter there?
Yeah. So now I'm drawing my name using a mouse.
Yes.
This is actually better than my normal handwriting. Put my last name
so you can see, you can speak through, like if you're doing a mathematics problem or something, you can speak while you're writing and the students will see it.
Yeah, so you can do 2 plus 2 class, that equals 4. See? So definitely I'm going to clear that off. Clear my drawings. There you go.
Awesome.
Cleared it out. So yeah, it's very doable.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. All right.
All right, that's good. There we go.
Oops. All right. Now you may, is it the right one? Yeah. So it may be that you didn't have time, because all the educators I know right now are working harder or working more than they were in the past, especially if you've got kids at home or you're taking care of your family members or what it may be. And so you may have a big mess behind you because you didn't have time.
I can show that.
Well, I don't think it shows us. So go back to the one of the annotation tools, because I don't think it'll show, you know what I mean? So like if you go to
well, I can't show it here.
You can't show it there, but I don't think it's going to show
that's
your,
right,
see what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much if
You're gonna have to talk through it.
Yeah, I'll talk you through it. So when I click draw, it gives me excuse me, like a thick squiggly line, and that's what I chose, which gave me the ability to do that kind of a highlighter.
So when you click draw, you're gonna, which is this one, you're gonna click the big squiggly line instead of the thinner one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool.
So yeah, you might have a messy background. You know, the real life might be not too cleaned up.
You can see all the clutter behind her.
It's not too bad. That's not so bad. Anyway, so maybe you don't want everyone to see your house. And so you can have a virtual background. Some of you may already know about this, but it's pretty cool. Go ahead, Adam.
And it's only available through the desktop
good point.
client. You cannot do this through the web-based Zoom. It's got to be, you have to have the app on your mobile phone, or you download it to your PC or Mac. So that's why how Catherine's able to do that. So when you when you click on this button right here,
mm-hmm.
you'll have the option to choose virtual background. If you don't see that, that means you're on the web version. So and then this pops up right here. And then these are all like the default ones that they have, that Zoom has given you. But if you click this plus button right,
that's going to be on the next one.
Yep.
So keep going.
There we go. You click that plus button. Now what's going to happen? It'll allow you to add image or video, any file that you have saved on your computer. So you can you could download a picture from the internet, or it's a picture that you saved that you took yourself. Any of those, if it's on your computer, it can be set as your background.
So there's me in, gosh, this was back in like 2016. But there's me in a classroom, and I thought,
you guys are playing Kahoot.
I thought, oh, this is so cool. I feel like I'm with students again, even though sadly we're not. Yeah. But yeah, so any image you want in the background, you can even find one online. Yeah, save it to your computer.
There's tons of people out there just like making collections of Zoom backgrounds that are like high definition that are really good for people to see. Easy to see.
Oh, okay. So good question. Marina asked, how would you allow students to post the stamps? So
go back.
The settings, let's go to this.
Back.
Sure, we can go back. essentially they would still use that stamp function,
Yeah.
but they would have to know, they would have to go to annotate on their toolbar.
Yeah.
So like,
So once you give them permission to share their screen, and they click share screen, then they'll be able to click.
but they can annotate on, like they can, I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
But if it was enabled, they can annotate on yours too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have, yeah. So that would be a setting that you would have to set.
Yeah, which most people don't want that. So
Yeah, so but it's something you have to go into the settings in your account on Zoom and scroll down through the millions of settings.
oh yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot. It's deep down there. You got to keep scrolling.
right.
But it's in there where you can allow the annotations.
I know we were, someone had said, I don't remember if it was this cohort or another one, they had said the students had started doing that. They'd started annotating and writing all over her screen when she shared. And that was, that was frustrating. So yeah, it's something you can turn off.
You got to know your kids.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Excellent. Okay, so yeah, these down here, because it has like this,
Little camera.
the camera, that's like a moving picture. So it's a video, so to
It's an
speak.
animated GIF.
Yeah. But what we'd love for you to do now is make yourself a virtual background. So you can try it. It's your turn.
So
We could go back so you could see this one again. Oh, so if you need a review, we go to the arrow first, and then choose virtual background, and then this will pop up. And you'll put the plus.
If you want to do one that's you saved, otherwise you can just choose one of the default ones that they give you. So we're gonna go ahead and stop the share so we can then see you guys.
Yeah.
And when you are ready, go ahead and show us your virtual background. You don't need to have your camera turned on to do it. You can just, I think, right? Oh no, you might.
No, you do.
Yeah, you will have to have your camera turned on to do the virtual background.
I've never.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. Oh, do you want to speak to the green screen part, Adam? Because I get that question a lot.
Because if you know, all right. So the green screen will give you a higher quality background if you have one. Like right now, you just see our cluttered office behind us. So if I do a virtual background, and let's see, I'm going to choose this outer space one here. So you see how it looks kind of psychedelic there? And if I move, I start disappearing a little bit. Oh, there goes my hand. That's because I don't have a green screen. If it had a green screen, you wouldn't have all this. This I guess the word is interference. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to. You would have as much difficulty for it. So like the ones that you have.
Barbara's in San Francisco, like me.
Yep. So the default ones that Zoom gives you are pretty good. Like you won't be disappearing as much. But if you just pull one off the internet or your own camera and throw it on there, it's likely to have like part of your head will disappear or body parts. See, my arm's disappearing. It's gone. Stuck in the water. But yeah, just something to be aware of.
Show them one of the ones that move.
Okay.
Real quick.
So now we have the northern lights behind us, the Aurora Borealis.
I like the beach one.
Yeah.
That one's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. All right.
If I wanted to, I'd take everybody to my school.
Oh, there we go.
You guys are in Central California in Orosi. All right, so.
Perfect. All right, let's go back.
I'll stop. All right, let's go back to share screen. All right, so thank you for indulging us.
And we still, we're still monitoring the chat, so you guys can ask questions in there, or if it's easier, unmute and ask questions that way. So recording, we talked about the first session, the student safety, privacy issues with recording, and the fact that FERPA, according to the U.S. Department of Ed, does allow it if the the video is shared just with other kids in the class, those that missed.
So
However,
if you are teaching multiple periods, you need to share that video with that individual period. It's not
good point.
Yeah, so that's that's some of the fine print. At least that's the interpretation I've been told.
Okay.
That sounds correct. So if you're doing a Zoom, recording a Zoom with your 5th period class, that video is only allowed to be shared with the 5th period class. You can't use it for your 6th period class to take a look at it because, yeah.
That being said, your district or board may have a different policy, and of course you need to follow that. You know, so that's certainly something you have to be cognizant of. Some districts will say recording can happen if there's a parent permission slip. Some districts will say as long as the video's turned off, it's okay. So it's something you're going to want to ask your district.
Yeah, so even though doing the recorded Zooms are allowed with full-blown video, my district early on was like, all right, you can do a Zoom, no student video, and it can't be recorded. Starting next week, they're actually going to change their policy where they're going to allow us to do the full-blown Zoom for the last few weeks of school. So again, even though it's allowed by the Department of Education, it's still up to your district, to the LEA. So you have to respect the local control. You
could perhaps want to start a Zoom just like with yourself and record it to share later if you want as well. But so here's where the record button is. You can record on the computer or to the cloud, but the cloud has very limited, actually with the free version, I don't think you can even record it to the cloud.
If you have the regular pro version, that's not it's not a business account or a group account, but you just yourself pay the $14.99 a month for it. You get up to 1 gig of storage.
It's just really not that much
for
video.
If you're part of an organization, they give you a lot more, but you really don't need to store it in the cloud because it'll save on your computer, and then you can immediately upload it to Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever and have it saved there for free. And then you can delete it off your computer and save your memory.
Okay, yes. And something else I learned. So I was teaching a class that we were required to record the classes. And so we would have breakout rooms. Last time we did breakout rooms. And the breakout rooms, when you're recording, it still records that main session, which is really boring because no one's there. Because as the host, I was dropping into the different breakout rooms. And so I wanted to have the recording stop and start again. Well, I forgot to hit pause. Where's the mouse here?
No.
I forgot to hit pause. And so instead of pause, I clicked stop. That stops the whole recording, and it leads to an immediate export. And so all of a sudden, now I'm going to have 2 videos because I'm going to have to push record again. So if that happens to you, make sure you press pause first.
So again, pause before if you're recording. Pause before you go to the breakout rooms.
Correct. Yeah, because otherwise it's super boring as well. Also, I wanted to say you can set it in the account settings to have it record automatically.
That's good for us because a lot of times we forget to hit record.
But that being said, it will record right from the beginning. So a lot of times, people don't, I start the meeting 5 minutes early, so it's just me for 5 minutes doing nothing. So you got to pause that and then start it again.
Yep.
Okay. This is pretty cool. You can actually live stream your Zoom meeting. There are school districts where their board has used this because the board meetings have to be public, but they don't want a bunch of comments, and they don't want to open it up for everyone to go on Zoom, the whole public, because there were horror stories of Zoom bombings with some school districts.
So we first learned this from Joy Alla up in the Bay Area.
Yes.
And he taught us that you could so pretty much the public gets to watch it on YouTube. Only the people who are invited get to participate on Zoom. We did this last night with Facebook Live. We do our weekly Twitter chat, and we were able to bring in from Indiana, best-selling author Matt Miller joined us for our Twitter chat last night. And so we shared the Zoom link with Matt Miller. So it was him and the 2 of us, talking about our topic. And then we live streamed it on Facebook Live. So all our friends on Facebook were able to watch it. And then all their comments went to Facebook and didn't, interrupt our Zoom. So it was very seamless and came out with pretty high quality, and it
really did.
really was not very difficult. It sounds like, oh, I need to do live streaming. It sounds like I need to have a degree in IT. You don't. This is for anyone. It's just as soon as you click live on Facebook, it'll take you to your Facebook account. Now, I will tell you, you need to be logged in to Zoom with the same email that you have for your Facebook account. So that may be something you need to think about if you want to go to Facebook. YouTube, if you're logged in with a Google account, it's going to take you to that Google account. So if you're using your school Google account, it's going to take you to the YouTube channel that is connected to that Google account. Again, a lot of people forget that Google owns YouTube.
Right.
So something to be aware of. So you know how to get those links to the right people.
Yeah, so this is where you'll see this more button, and you push that and it'll have the options for live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Now, you may host a meeting and you don't see that, which is because you have to go into settings and allow the live streaming. So you have to go
pretty deep down.
Yeah, I got to scroll quite a ways in the settings, and then you'll have to turn it on because the default is it won't be on, and then you would click, Facebook. I don't use Workplace for Facebook.
If you're wondering what Workplace by Facebook is, it's like Facebook is trying to get into the whole education game, and it's like the education version of Facebook where they will create. I think it's free to get started, and they'll create like a domain of Facebook that's just the people like at your school, and it operates exactly like Facebook, but it's not open to the public. It's just the people in your school, and they created it pretty much just because people are used to using Facebook. They know how to do it. It's another communication tool. It hasn't really taken off. I tried it, and people weren't really interested. But if you're curious about what that is, I just wanted to explain to you a little bit about it.
So once you do that, when you click, like back on this screen, when you click more, when you select live on Facebook, it looks like this. And you can afterwards, it will prompt you to be able to write like a message, and you can tag people as well.
So here's something to consider. So what I've done with Facebook and my students, I created a private Facebook group that allows students and their parents, if they want you, to join. And I don't let anybody else, if you're not in my class, you're not in. If you're not a parent of a student, you're not in. So what you can do here, when I click share on timeline, this will also give me the option to share to a group. So let's say I bring in an author on Zoom to do a read aloud, and we're talking about it. It'll then live stream on Facebook, so that the parents and students who are in that Facebook group will be able to watch it and comment on Facebook and not interrupt the actual Zoom. So just an idea for you there.
That's smart. I like that. The great thing about that too is at least the parents are on Zoom are on Facebook already, so they'll see it.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea. With YouTube, if you say live on YouTube, you do have to give access to your account the first time, as well as you have to enable the live streaming feature on your account. So, you could just click here if you hadn't done it yet. On this brand account, I hadn't done it. So, just so you know, that's something you're going to need to plan ahead. If you are going to go onto YouTube Live right away, make sure that you do this step first, because as it says, it can take up to 24 hours.
And so something to think about, just because we always end our sessions by saying you get free tech support for life when you get a session with us. And you're like, man, I want to do this whole Zoom meeting with Facebook or YouTube, but I don't know how to do it. All you got to do, we are an email away, and you want to set up a Zoom between yourself and us, we'll walk you right through how to set up all the stuff. You share your screen, we'll tell you click here, click there, and get you started. That's something we definitely can provide for you.
All right. So many settings. There's not only the settings in the in the main section of Zoom, but once you're in a meeting, there's lots of additional settings as well. So if you click this arrow right by where you turn on and off your video, you can go click video settings, for example, and you see all this stuff. So different things. This is going to be the default theme, but if you like everything to look a little darker or all light, you could do that. Just some different things. If you have dual monitors, you can click that. So some different things there.
With the dark theme, it uses less battery.
Really?
Yes, so that's why people like using dark themes. I use it on my phone because my phone lasts
Oh.
longer. And if you're if you have to do a Zoom and you can't plug it in,
Mhm.
you want to save that battery life. Choose the dark theme.
Nice. That makes sense. All right. So this is kind of interesting. I heard this a while back. Oh, you could do like you could touch up your image on Zoom. Oh, that's so cool. And people were talking about it and they were all excited. And so I thought, I don't really care that much, but I thought, oh, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. So tried it today just to see. What does it do? Like, how good is this? Is it something I should recommend?
You look different in that GIF.
Funny. No, but look at this. Okay, so here's the real Zoom touch up. Can you tell which one's touched up, Adam?
The one on the right?
Yes, but really it's not that big a difference.
No.
It's really not.
I think they're still perfecting the technology.
Perhaps. So I did want to show you like a real life example of what that will look like and how it's a little different if you so choose back here on the video settings to touch up your appearance. So again, to get to this, if you would like to do that, you click that arrow right by the video settings, and then over here on the left, you're gonna click video, touch up my appearance, and go here. Elise had a good answer. She said the correct answer was there's no improving perfection. Nice.
My grandpa had that bumper sticker on his car.
Oh yeah?
Can't improve perfection. Yeah. So.
That's awesome. Okay. So yeah, definitely wanted to show you that. Okay, registrations. I was wondering if you guys have done this. If you've ever registered for a Zoom meeting or required registration when hosting. We've only got about 5 more minutes though, so maybe we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Some of you may have registered for maybe a webinar or something like that. But I just did want to talk a little bit about what this is like and maybe some of all the other settings. So this one, as opposed to the settings in the previous examples, where you're actually going to those settings within a session that's already in place. First of all, there's some things that you can set, of course, lots of things when you schedule a new meeting where there's lots of options there, right? And this, when you're scheduling that meeting, you can click the box that says require registration. So when you require registration, at the bottom of the screen that pops up when it's been scheduled, it's going to look like this. And so you have to manage your attendees. Well, you don't have to. You can. I'll show you what that looks like. But right now, I'm manually approving it. So I'm going to have to go in and edit and approve each person. But I also want an email to go to me. If I don't get an email and I don't log into Zoom and I don't look at this meeting, people might register and I don't know about it. Once someone registers and I approve it, you could also have it automatically approved. But I like to have to approve it first. So once I get that email, I log into Zoom, I approve it. Then they get an email with all of the information about how to join the meeting. So this way, you're not just giving someone a link, you're making them register first. So if you have had to register for a Zoom meeting, this is what it looks like on the back end. So again, I like to manually approve, but you could do automatic as well. I, of course, want to have an email when somebody registers. And then there's these other options. The questions is from this page as well, but under questions. The questions, I usually just do last name, organization, job title, but you can make custom questions as well. So, maybe if you were having like, I don't know, parent conferences, you probably wouldn't even need registration for that. But I did want you to just kind of know what that was, because you guys are going to be Zoom masters. So,
That's right.
This is stuff to know. So this is kind of interesting. You can, when you you've scheduled a meeting and you say, you know what, I'm going to have this same kind of meeting quite often. I want the settings to all be the same. You can click this here that says save as meeting template. And so then when you come up here, you can name it, you're saving it as a template. And when you schedule a meeting, now you can use that template and all those settings are already set. So maybe mute.
Huge time saver.
It's a great time saver.
Because if you have a template for what you do with adults versus what you do with students,
that's a good point.
Definitely a time saver because your settings are probably going to be different.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a kind of cool feature that a lot of people aren't aware of as well. So I don't know. You think there's Zoom Masters?
I'm pretty confident.
So we'd love to hear any further questions you have if you want to know more specifics about where certain settings are or things like that. We'll stay on if you have additional questions. It's just about 4:45, so if you do need to sign off, feel free to do so. But we really appreciate you being here. Thank you for all you're doing for students and your colleagues and such. And if you do have questions, in the chat or unmute, and we will be able to answer those.
So again, like we say, when you have a session with us, you have tech support for life. We have our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us, and we're usually getting back to you within 24 hours. So
Yep.
I'd like to help you out. We're gonna pay it forward. People did that for us, so we're gonna do it for you guys as well.
That's right. All right. Thank you. Glad you guys were here. Thank you, Marina. Glad to hear that.
All right.
Okay. Oh, stop the recording. I was going to hear me saying that.
Come on.
Your mouse is all.